Hello, my name is Colton Solzer, and I'm doing my uh, video for my ePortfolio for the practicum of building leadership. So with the ePortfolio, we're going to start off here in the artifacts folder. As you can see, I have my folders split up into the different categories of district, elementary, secondary, and then also portfolio documents. So the portfolio documents are going to be what we have here with the goals, the leadership philosophy, plan of study, and the resume. So taking a look at this on our goals, here's my goals video. So this is what I want to do in the next 5-10 years, both professionally and personally. So it really is what I want to have done. It's also what I've done both in school and outside of school before I got my elementary education degree, where I'm from, all that great information that makes me who I am. And that's really important because to know somebody's past is to know who they are as a person. So that's really important. Here we have my leadership philosophy. So with this, learn to love and love to learn. So if you love what you do when you're teaching, that's definitely going to come off with the students. If you love what you're teaching and you embrace what you're doing, again, they're going to love to learn if you love to teach. So that's really important. Sticking together. I know having a diverse classroom is really important, and that's what we have here where I'm at. I'm in Syracuse, Kansas, and we have a very diverse community, and so it's really important, and I have stressed that with the students, and I've pointed out how important it is and how much better it makes us as individuals. And we really learn a lot from our students from other countries just because we talk about what we do here and what they did in their other country, and the students get really excited and really involved. And so then the students from the other countries get really excited because they get to tell their classmates how things were done there and what, kind of what they like better. And more often than not, the students do like it better here than they did there. But it's still really cool for them to address the classroom with that kind of stuff. And so the students know there's differences out there, even state to state, country to country. So bringing that in, and that's where communication really comes in. Communication with families, students. It's just really important. I'm really big on communication with everybody. My administrator, other staff, students, parents. Teamwork I know is really, really important. It's hard to do anything on your own. You work together. Two people you would think makes it go twice as fast, but it actually seems to make things go 3 times as fast. And then safety, emotional, physical, and mental. We have some students that really have some troubles with some things, and so they feel safe here, and that's really the main goal, is to make sure that those students feel safe and are comfortable coming to school every day. Plan of study. My plan of study, I have changed a little bit since the beginning, but that's because I took on some extra classes when we were quarantined last summer, because there wasn't really much else to do, so I figured I'd take advantage of that, and so I can graduate a little earlier than what I was anticipating. So I'm really excited about that. Taking something and making a positive out of it is really important, and so I was really glad I was able to do that. And then here's my resume. So just seeking a principal position that will allow me to continue to connect with children and grow professionally. I have a couple of degrees. I have my associate's degree in business management and marketing, which really helps me with parents, especially with tough conversations. And some of the jobs that I held with that degree have really come in handy. I use it with the students as well, but with the parents, it really does come in handy. I trained a lot of agents for DirecTV and Walmart. And so doing that has really prepared me to work with parents. And then I have my bachelor's degree in elementary education. So I'm excited to be able to graduate this spring, and then all the qualifications I have with being a teacher, being a trainer, excellent multitasker, which you have to be as a teacher, otherwise it makes the day too long and too much to do. Um, so that is a good portion of my resume. I do have quotes over here from previous teachers and employers, so that's just a little added something to know who I am in professional situations. So my activity form I have filled out with my 150 plus hours of different activities. So all kinds of great stuff, from observing to Class Dojo, evaluating other teachers, Ames Web assessments, all kinds of good stuff. MDT meeting, that was really interesting, and I'll kind of get in more. I'll get more into that stuff as I go through the different slides. My activities tracker, loved this. This is a fantastic idea. I was so motivating to get something done, come in here and check it off. One of the most motivating things I think a person can do is to make a list of what they have to do. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming to see all the stuff that you have to do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here, but once you really buckle down and start checking some of that stuff off, it just becomes such a motivational thing to do. So I really enjoyed having this tracker, and I think it went really well. My administration verification, I only have one from my current principal, because the only thing I did outside of the only thing I did in the secondary school, I did before COVID. And so since I didn't have the sheet, I did that before COVID. I haven't gone over there since or done anything in there since. So I just have the one verification sheet to cover that, since I didn't go over there. I haven't gone over there since the COVID. I have my annotated bibliography. This was a really interesting. I got a lot of great information. There were a lot of really good resources that I am excited to put in my bag of tricks, I guess you can say, my portfolio itself, that I'll take with me, my reference tools, because there was a lot of really good information in there to be used and had. So I'm really excited about taking advantage of some of that. And realistically, a lot of it is stuff I can use in my classroom, or I can observe my principal do. I can ask questions about with my current principal, and really get to know that information before I have to use it. So with the district, with my district presentation, I have differentiation of tests, so that's something that needs to be done district-wide, because again, like I said, we have a huge, diverse school, and so differentiating between a bunch of different cultures is super important. One thing we did for the library was, on the board, we voted and we got more laptops and MiFis, because if we do have to go to online learning, a lot of families don't have laptops, they don't have internet, so we were able to vote in and order more laptops and MiFi, so if students have to go remote learning, they have access to that, and that's super important. We actually, our junior high had to take advantage of that, because we had a big group of kids that ended up getting quarantined for 2 weeks, and there was a lot of them that had to go in and take advantage of that. So it was really great to see that we were able to do that. And then joining the library board, again, different from the previous slide, because this is joining so that I could do what I talked about on the previous slide, having that voice for the school of what we're going to need and what we want. So different books and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and jump down to the elementary because this is where I spent most of my time. Um, so when we first went to COVID last year, we started with our continuous learning plan, and we had a before, and this is what our after looks like. Um, we were all still learning when it started, so this is kind of what we started with, but it was hard for the parents, especially parents that didn't have that did have multiple students in different grades, because everybody's lesson plans and stuff looked different. So it was hard for them to remember who goes where for what. We streamlined it through the whole junior high, through the elementary and junior high, and I helped streamline and make it easier for the parents. So that was really important for us to do. Parent-teacher conferences, again, this is really important, and I feel this is a great way to communicate. Keep that open communication with the parents. Leadership, again, this is so important, and it's just more than just leadership. I mean, it is so much more to do. You have so many hats that you have to wear and things you have to be able to do, and know and look at. So I created a board, a bulletin board for students that do stuff above and beyond academically. So something that is great for them. It might not be real exciting for a different student, but for this particular student, it is something that they achieved that was fantastic. If the student normally gets C's and D's and they all of a sudden start getting A's on their tests, or non-English speaking students knowing all of their letters and letter sounds, super important. And it's really great for those because students like that typically don't get recognized, because it's not a big deal for a third grader to know all their sounds, except for in these cases where these students came in and they didn't know any English, and so they're starting from scratch, and so knowing all these sounds is huge, knowing all the letters, and it's just, so we want to make a big deal out with those students too, so that they have that sense of pride. Going through and evaluating curriculum for science and social studies. We don't have a science and social studies curriculum right now, so this is something I'm working on with some of the other teachers through the elementary area. I'll go ahead and continue on. My reflection. So this has been a really good program. I've learned a lot. There were some areas, some situations where I kind of had a hard time understanding exactly what the professor was trying to get across. But overall, this was a really good program, and I'm excited that I was able to take it, that I was accepted, and that I was able to make it through with flying colors. I am really happy with how everything went through the whole process. If I had questions, I know I could talk to Amanda Frank. I had to email her a couple of times, and she got right back to me. And Doc has been absolutely amazing in this whole practicum too. And then here's my secondary. Again, I did one thing in the second. I went to the secondary only one time, and that was again before the pandemic. So that's why I only did the one administrative verification. Everything else I did was either schoolwork that I've already done, or stuff I was in the process of doing, such as like the mission statement, making decisions and facts, a diverse classroom. Again, diversity, especially up in the high school and secondary, is really important, especially when they come in not speaking English. So again, I really enjoyed the program. I am so glad that I was able to get in, and I learned a lot, and I'm really excited to actually put that information to use in the future. Thank you.